In this video, we are going to continue with section 1, which we started in the first video. First video, we learned about relations and functions, domain and range. In this video, we are going to use the vertical line test to determine if a relation is a function, and we're going to use a graphing calculator to graph relations. So, as you can see, you're going to need a graphing calculator. If we look at this key concept below, it says if a vertical line intersects a graph in no more than one point, the graph is a function. So here's what that means. If I draw in a bunch of horizontal lines, they only go through my graph once at any given point. For example, this line right here passes through the graph once. So we would say this is a function. On the right, if a vertical line intersects a graph in two or more points, the graph does not represent a function. So again, draw in vertical lines. If I see this one to the left, it intersects the graph twice. So this is not a function. Not a function. So we're going to look at examples 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do them together. Example 1, it says tell the domain. Okay, so domain is the x values. Range is the y. We're going to start with the range. So here's our y-axis. What you notice is that your graph forever goes up and forever goes down. Forever goes up, forever goes down. So your range is all real numbers. Another way to write that is R with the double backbone. That's an R, it's not an IR. It's R with a double backbone. Domain is your x, so that's going to be your left, right. In this case, if we look at our graph, it's going up and right forever. It's going down and left forever. So the graph will forever go left, forever go right. So again, it's all real numbers. Or, like I said, the R with the double backbone. Is this a function? Well, we're going to do the vertical line test. If I put a bunch of vertical lines in, do they ever pass through the graph more than once? No. This one passes through once, this one's once, this one's once. Only once means that it's a function. If it were more than once, not be a function. If we look at example 2, our domain is all of our x values. So in this case, we have -4, -3, 0, 1, and 3. So all I'm doing is reading the x values off of the graph. For my range, I'm going to read off the y values. So I get 1, -2, -2, 2, and 3. Is this a function? Well, this goes back to what we did yesterday. The question yesterday was, in the earlier video, does x repeat? So does any x have more than one y? In this case, all of our x's are different, so yes, this is a function. You may notice we have some y's repeating. We don't care. Y repeats, that's fine. Doesn't matter. If it's a function though, every x has only one y, so x will not repeat. Looking at example 3, if we do our domain, our x, we will notice the graph forever goes left. So forever goes left. Up here, forever goes right. So our domain is all real numbers again. Here's where things change with the range. So our range is y, the up and down. We will notice our graph forever goes up, right? It's going left and right, but it's still going up. It does not go down though. This is the lowest point for the graph. At this lowest point, our y is 0. So for our range, we say that y is greater than or equal to 0. It starts at 0 and gets bigger. Is this a function? Okay, well, we got to look at those vertical lines again. If I think of all these vertical lines being here, does any one pass through the graph more than once? Well, here I pass through once. So yes, this is a function. Last example, example 4. We're going to skip the domain and range. I just want to see if this is a function. If I put all these vertical lines through, do they ever pass through the graph more than once? Yes. So you'll notice here, the same line passes through 2 points, 2 points, 2 points. This is not a function then. So again, if a line passes through more than once, it's not a function. So that was the first idea for this video, is the vertical line test. For the next part of the video, you need your graphing calculator. Okay, for example 5, you can see up here, we are going to use our graphing calculator to sketch the relation, and then we are going to state the domain and range. We can see the directions here, starting at number 1 for how to graph this on your calculator. You're going to go to y equals. It's in the upper left corner of your calculator. You are going to type in negative x plus 3. In the second row, you're going to see an x button. So type in negative x plus 3. Make sure you use the negative rather than subtraction. Next, you're going to hit the zoom button, and you're going to choose number 6. And when you do, this is the graph that you should see. So this is the graph that you should see. We need to sketch important points. So this point I can see, this point I can see. This point looks like 3, 0. That point looks like 0, 3. So if I plot those on my graph, that is enough now for me to graph this line. Okay, talking about domain and range. Domain, again, is our x. So here's our x-axis. We're going to notice the graph goes down and right forever. So it's going down and right. It's going up and left forever. So x being our left, right. The graph forever goes left, forever goes right. So our domain is all real numbers. Our range, the graph forever goes up, forever goes down. So our range is all real numbers as well. Okay, real quick with example 6, I want you to see if you can graph this equation. You are going to follow the same directions that you did above. Go to y equals, enter it in, go zoom 6 and look at your graph. When you do, you should get something like this. Hopefully you all remember this shape. It's called a parabola. So take a minute, make sure that you get that graph. If you don't, make sure you ask me in class. If you have any questions, please write them down so that you remember to ask in class. When you come to class, we'll be doing some practice with this.